Hey, Spilled Milkers, Andrew Zimmern here. Let's get right to it. No, I am not on the road. I am not in my hotel room. I'm, in fact, in my living room. Some great questions this week, including one that came to our mailbox, which I'll address first and foremost. The inquiry was about the old school thing that people like me are sometimes asked to do, which are signed pictures to people, either for yourself or as gifts. They make a lovely stocking stuffer. All you have to do is go to info@andrewzimmern.com, request one, give us the address, and we will sign a picture and mail it out to you. Jenny writes, I recently went to Spain on vacation, had ham croquetas and cod croquetas. How can I make them at home? Well, it's really, really very easy. Essentially, you're making a very, very thick, pasty bechamel, and then you're putting your ham or your salt cod into that bechamel and chilling it, and then you roll it into little sausages and roll them in breadcrumb, flour, egg, breadcrumb. Everyone has their own technique, and fry them. And when I saw this picture, I immediately thought of a couple of people who have written incredible cookbooks on the totality of Spanish cuisine. Now, obviously, there's my friend Jose Andres, but there's a woman named Penelope Casas, C-A-S-A-S, Vassar graduate, who is just an incredible authority on all types of regional Spanish cuisine. So she'll have croquetas from, Asturias, croquetas from Madrid, croquetas from Galicia, from all over. Anyway, I would encourage you to go online and get some of her cookbooks. And if you just queried on Google Penelope Casas croquetas, you will probably come up with it. I don't have a recipe for one because after fiddling around with it once, my friend Jose said, don't you ever make those again. You just call me when you made them, when you need them, which is very nice of him. But I think the implication was that mine weren't as good as his, which there is 100% of truth to that. Chris writes, and by the way, we have a couple of bagel questions here tonight. And I think it's because of that abomination called a chopped bagel sandwich, where essentially you put cream cheese and cucumber and onion and capers and lemon and dill and smoked salmon, and you chop it up like you're making steak tartare, and you put it on a toasted bagel, which defeats the whole fucking purpose of layering those ingredients so you bite in and enjoy the textures and the vibe. Who puts that shit on a cutting board and destroys it? I'm like serious. And I know that this is like, you're gonna think, oh, this is the food of his people, and he's overreacting. No, I'm not. It's like, I can't even, it's like ordering pizza and then you take a slice and you chop the shit out of it and make it into tartare, and then eat it. It's pointless. Oh, Chris writes, where's the best lox and cream cheese bagel? Well, the best of, and I mean, the holiest of the holies. There's one place for me, followed closely by a second, because it was my around the corner from my grandmother's. Russ and Daughters is where our family has gone for five generations. Nikki Russ Faderman, who runs the shop now with her cousin, Jake Tepper, phenomenal people. It's their business now. They've expanded it, several stores now, and a cafe and a satellite out at the Navy Yard. Still the best appetizing food of its kind. I order from there almost monthly. I'm addicted, have to have it here in Minnesota. But 5 generations of my family has eaten there, which is quite something. And my grandmother took me there for the first time. She was friendly with Nikki's father. And somewhere at my grandmother's in storage, or one of my cousins has the picture of my grandmother with me as a kid and Nikki's dad. And I keep searching for it because she has asked me to send it to her so they can put it up in one of the stores. Very close second, Barney Greengrass. Whole different kind of experience, and I go to them for different things. When I'm on the Upper West Side, I always go to Barney Greengrass. I mean, it's a big schlep downtown if I'm staying with a friend on the Upper West Side. But Barney Greengrass has a whole breakfast situation with eggs and coffee and fresh squeezed orange juice, and there's only like 30 seats. And I've been going there since I was a kid also, because my grandmother lived like 3 blocks away. And the great thing about Barney Greengrass is you walk in and it's like, you know, New York City royalty is in the room. It's like, oh, there's Jerry Seinfeld having breakfast with Larry David. Oh, actually, after you are in the room and you spot them huddling and giggling, you really don't notice anyone else. But yeah, Barney Greengrass and Russ and Daughters, not even close. How do I top my bagel? CVNDR. I don't even know how to pronounce that. Ask me how I top my bagel. Typically, toast my bagel. Paper thin slices of lemon. Yes, I actually put paper thin slices of lemon on there. Meyer lemon if I have it. Scallion cream cheese, smoked fish, and then on the top piece, a thin smear of whitefish salad. That's my Sunday morning. Weekdays is maybe just bagel and a schmear, maybe just bagel and a little bit of whitefish salad, maybe just bagel with a little bit of butter and jam, maybe bagel with some scallion cream cheese and smoked fish of whatever kind I have around. And yes, I always have some in my freezer. Any plans for a cookbook, memoir, or travel guide in my future? Yes, all 3. I have a cookbook coming out a year from now that I am co-authoring, all about an encyclopedia of seafood. Then we have another one coming out after that. I do have a memoir that hopefully will come out after that. And we are doing Google Maps travel guides to make things easier for people on Substack and my website. We're building those spring of this year, and they'll be out for the summer. Evie writes, how can you know all these restaurants around the world? A year and a half ago, I asked through Ask Me Anything, which is what we're doing right now, where you would go in London if you were there for just one night. You sent me a list of 6 restaurants. Yes, it's my regular 6. I adjust them all the time, but yeah. I visited Gymkhana and Brat, and since then, oh nice. Since then, I always go there when I'm in London because both of them were superb. Yeah, they're great. I haven't visited the restaurant you had first on your list because it was in Brixton and I don't like the neighborhood. I get it, but neighborhoods are filled with people. People are good. People good. Government's bad. No, I mean, it's not like I'm some sort of anarchist. I'm just saying, anywhere there's someone serving food, good vibes are happening, so you can feel safe. Until last week, the restaurant opened lately near Oxford Street, and it's the Chishiru, restaurant. By the way, they just got a Michelin star. They were also one of Europe's 50 best group, gave them like up and coming new restaurant, because I saw the owners there the summer before last. The food was exactly the way you described it. Yeah, fantastic, right? Just awesome. I thank you so much for recommending it to me. By the way, if you're watching this, it means you subscribe, which means you have access to our archives, which means if you scroll back to a column from like 2 years ago called London Calling, I actually wrote about this restaurant. Thank you so much for recommending it to me. Just cannot understand how it's possible to know all these restaurants around the world. Yep. Sometimes I amaze even myself because I keep traveling and eating. And when I'm traveling, sometimes I'll have 3 dinners if there's new restaurants and places I'm dying to go. And I stay up on places with friends there. So when I come through town, even if it's just for a meal, I can run to whatever, like the hot new places. SRD writes, what's your favorite burger in Minneapolis? Oh my gosh, Lion's Tap in Eden Prairie is one of them. The Dirty French Burger at Spoon and Stable is another. And the hamburger at 112 Eatery, which they put on a homemade English muffin, is the third one. Those are my top three, not in any order. They're all really different. But man, they're fantastic. Just, I mean, unbelievable. I bit my tongue. That sucked. What's your favorite tri-tip? You mean recipe? Brand? I don't know. I get tri-tips from local farms at the farmer's market. I love the tri-tip. That's my go-to grilled steak in the summertime because I can grill it to medium, pink medium, slice it paper thin, make sandwiches, cool it and put it in salads. It's such a beautiful, luxurious cut, but you actually have to cook it for longer to get it tender. I love the tri-tip. The other thing I do is char it black, so it's still ice cold rare in the middle. I mean, like just lower the grill right up there, char it black, and then dump it into a Ziploc bag with like 2 cups of red wine and suck the air out of it and zip it closed and marinate it overnight. And all that char will suck up almost all the wine, and then throw it back on the grill the next night and cook it till it's 150 degrees inside. Try that. Notice how now I'm pausing for emphasis. Maisie, I'm supposed to bring a batch cocktail to a party where I know one of the guests is pregnant. What's a good mocktail that people could easily add booze to? Oh my gosh, so many. But I think one of the great ones, on my website, just look up blended Mai Tai or Mai Tai. Make it with homemade orgeat syrup, almond syrup, easy to make, and it's a great thing to use all the time. But here's what you can do. You bring the mix separate and you do it in blender with ice for people, and then you can float the booze, or you make batches with the booze and just make her one. A little extra lime juice to combat the sweetness in hers. But yeah, delicious. Latte Lady writes, what's your favorite substitute for flour in homemade desserts that need to be gluten-free? Well, not all homemade desserts have flour. So, also, do you ever, so, I mean, I guess here's the thing. Yeah, sure, I've played around with rice flour and alternative flours for people who are gluten-free, but I'd rather just make a dessert that's gluten-free to begin with. I mean, if you're thinking about cake and cookies and bars, there's a lot more than just that. You know, on my website, I have a molten chocolate lava cake. Doesn't have any flour in it. Delicious. How about fresh fruit? I know I'm kind of being a dick. I'm not trying to be a dick about it. It may come off that way. Apologies. But there's just so much for that, you know, I'm not big on substitutions. Like, here's the thing. I get asked all the time, Andrew Zimmern, can I have a vegan, sugar-free recipe for creme brulee? And I say, sure, it's an apple. Okay. Also, Latte Lady, do you ever refrigerate extracts once they're open, like vanilla, orange, almond, lemon? Yes, I know the extracts. Yes, I have my homemade vanilla extract, homemade, that I make in my refrigerator. Take a bottle of vodka, take 6 vanilla beans, cut all the vanilla beans in half, scrape all the seeds, put the seeds in the vodka, put the stems of the vanilla bean pods in the vodka, screw the top on, put it in your refrigerator for 6 months and forget about it. Shake it, pour it into smaller jars, like, you know, little ball jars, store them away. And when you're about halfway through, well, when you're 6 months through, make another bottle of vodka's worth. It's the best homemade extract. Well, it's the second best homemade extract in the world. I did a batch once with 25-year-old rum. Best vanilla extract I ever made. And my next batch reminds me I have to make another batch with that. Ellie writes, best way to make hard-boiled eggs. I've seen a lot of different methods. I usually just boil mine. Could I be doing it better? Yes. Take your eggs, let them come to room temperature, not cold eggs, room temperature eggs. Put them in a pot of water. Bring the water to a boil. When it starts to boil, count for 60 seconds and then turn the heat off. Then count 10 minutes. Take them out, submerge them in ice water so they're drop temperature right away. 10 minutes after that, peel them. They're easier to peel then. They're gonna be perfect, no grayish spots, perfect hard-boiled eggs every single time. That's it for today, folks. Love you lots. See you next week. For those of you coming to South Beach Wine and Food Festival, I'll see you there this weekend. What else did I need to say to you? That's it.